believe I left off somewhere in day 4. I think I need to turn that volume down a little. That is quite loud. I don't remember if I did this in the last stream or not, so...
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond.
Okay, I think I did that. I think I might have also read the paper, but I'll do it anyway, just to be sure I don't miss points.
Time stated June 21st, 1993. Gabriel's eye is immediately drawn to an article about the voodoo murder. He scans it quickly. Gabriel decides to check his horoscope, despite his disgust. Death walks close to you today. Resist temptation lest his eye fall on you, too.
Peachy.
Gabriel also spots an ad for Sam Springleton, a jeweler. Sam hangs out at the Napoleon House.
Okay, so looks like I did that since I didn't get points. This is what happens when you go months without streaming a game.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Yuck. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want, but check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
It says I'm supposed to request her to investigate the Veve, but... Oh. No, that was the patterns. Never
I can't
mind.
think of anything. Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't, but it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that? Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Ugh, now what are you getting yourself into?
Nothing you need to know about, do you?
I know there are dark forms of any major religion. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Speaking of yin and yang...
But no, I don't know anything really about voodoo, dark or otherwise, sorry.
Are you sure you don't know anything about black voodoo?
You are desperate. I told you I can't help you.
Do you have messages for me?
Your grandmother called. She said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have messages for me?
That man from Germany called again, Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours.
Interesting. Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking. Here's that phone number.
Thanks.
Okay, so... Zoom up. I think I want to go to the greater map. Yeah, there we go.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Oh, sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give me a kiss.
Now come on, sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Of course, before that, we want to look at the other shit. The old design wasn't too bad. Okay.
How have you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but, I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
Nope. Well, this is going to take a while. At least her portrait makes her look less like a who than she did in the original game.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear so much about it these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern, of course, though not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
My goodness, boy, you lived here all your life, just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? I remember when I was a girl, we always had a St. John's Eve Mass. The Mass was said at midnight, and we held candles. One time, on the way home, we were waylaid by a large group of drunken revelers. They didn't hurt us, but, oh, I was frightened. My father was furious. We never went to St. John's Eve Mass after that.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I haven't celebrated it in years, Gabriel. I'm sure there's still Mass in the more traditional churches, but I don't go.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Marie Laveau. Oh, of course. She was that voodoo woman, wasn't she? She preyed on people's fears and superstitions, is what I think. There are always those willing to take other people's money for nothing. You stay away from people like that, Gabriel.
Yes, Gran. Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? What kind of snakes, dear?
The long,
I don't know,
slithery
local
kind.
kinds.
Well, we used to get cottonmouths in the park when I was a girl, but I haven't heard of one being sighted for years. Milk snakes and garter snakes are also around these parts, but they can't hurt you.
Thanks, Gran. Do you know anything about animal masks?
Why, no, dear. Do you mean Mardi Gras masks?
Never mind, Gran. Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Gabriel, my goodness. What are you up to these days?
Oh, nothing, Gran, really.
You'd better not be. You know you're the only family I have left.
I know, Gran. It's okay. Do you know anything about black voodoo?
I don't know much about any kind of voodoo, Gabriel.
Does the phrase Cabri Sanko mean anything to you?
Something without something, I think. Oh, my French is so rusty, I swear my mind is going.
No, it's okay, thanks.
Because we already know what it is.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
What, dear?
Never mind. Have you ever heard of Dambala?
What, dear?
Never mind.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
No, come on, Gran.
Oh, all right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas and corn and cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
Oh, I met Helson at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend, Alma. And at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fine brimstone annex. And a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Helson and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. Oh, it was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddaddy and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather. And I never will.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some and I'll whip up a half a dozen.
You've lost weight. Are you courting a new man?
Oh, Gabriel, don't be silly. You know there'll never be anyone but your granddad for me.
Your hair looks very pretty today, Gran.
Well, thank you, dear. So does... Well, you've always had such nice, thick hair, Gabriel.
You know, I always tell people that my Gran is the prettiest grand old belle in the city.
Oh, dear. You shouldn't talk so.
What's new, Gran?
I've been working
Yay,
on baby
achievement.
sweaters for the church bazaar. Keeps me busy.
Done anything interesting lately?
I raised you.
Lately, Gran.
Oh, you know me, Gabriel. I always got my nose poked in something.
It must run in the family. You're looking well, Gran.
Oh, thanks, dear.
Is there anything you need?
Me? No, I'm just fine, Gabriel. I have more than enough of everything.
Nice weather.
Oh, Gabriel, please. It's been just awful. Muggiest summer of my life.
Are you okay, Gran?
I'm right as rain, boy.
Now to the important shit.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He walked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. Oh, I tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. Oh, the nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he lost another. And I'd tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. It took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
Oh, I know you are, dear.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was. He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift, but he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him.
Tell me about my father.
Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. Oh, they were two peas in a pod.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, oh, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road, or wildcat.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school, but Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated that it was Margaret's money that supported the three of you when his fainting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two, but he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked to define her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be such a sweet gesture.
It's just past the Ross tomb, right? Oh, maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. Oh, they never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Oh, darn.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Well, now that that's done,
I'm gonna go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
when dust bunnies attack. Trunk. Upright.
There's a lot of Granddad's old stuff in here. Might be something interesting.
That castle looks familiar.
What's this? It's some sort of key.
We'll come back to this in a moment. How do I do this? Oh, click and hold. And key, where do I use it? Right there.
The key winds the clock's mechanism.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
Drei Drachen.
A secret drawer has opened in the base of the clock.
Yes, I can see that. I was trying to see what this shit was without having to pick it up.
The old photograph shows Gabriel's grandfather with two other men that Gabriel has not identified. The back of the photo has the following written on it. Schloss Ritter, 1925.
Neat.
The letter is written in German, but Gabriel determines what he can about it. It was sent from a place called Schloss Ritter in Rittersburg, West Germany. The letter is addressed to mein Sohn Heinz and signed Wilhelm Ritter. One of the reoccurring words strewn throughout the letter is the word Schattenjäger. The only other thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of urgency in the handwriting and in the heavy use of a quill tip, bold strokes, and underlining.
I wonder if anyone's come up with a drink called a
The letter
Schattenjäger
is
yet.
written in German. It was sent. The letter. One of the only.
Okay, yeah. that was all the same.
Does this mean anything to you, Graham?
That one in the middle is your grandfather. Those other two, oh, I don't know.
Can we talk, Graham?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Schottenjäger.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Schottenjäger? Schottenjäger? Oh, how odd, Gabriel. I haven't heard that word in years. My goodness, you've given me a chill. Your granddad used to say that sometimes in his sleep.
Really? Do you know what it means?
No, I'm afraid not. I asked him about it once. I don't think he answered me. Odd.
Thanks, Graham. Do you know anyone named Heinz Ritter?
Heinz Ritter. Oh, Gabriel. Where did you hear that name?
I found a letter in Granddaddy's clock.
Oh, I promised I'd never tell you or your father, but I suppose it doesn't matter now.
Tell me, Graham.
Your granddad's name was Heinz Ritter before he came to America. He changed it to Harrison Knight legally when he arrived.
Why did Granddad change his name?
I don't know. I tried to ask him about his family and his life before America, but he didn't want to talk about it. He never even told me about his name change. I found out one day when I saw his passport in a drawer. Since he obviously found it painful, I never questioned him about it. But I'm sure it wasn't trouble with the law. Your granddad was the best man I ever knew.
Didn't Granddad ever say anything about his past or his family?
Only that his family was crazy and that he never wanted to see them again. He believed in some family curse. Thought that he could spare Philip and Philip's children from what he called old nightmares. Whatever Harrison wanted to spare you, though, oh, it cost him plenty. He never did sleep well, and he would often get a far-away, guilty look in his eyes. He was wrestling with something he thought he should be doing, someplace he thought he ought to be. I don't know how he could think that he should be anywhere but with me and our child. It's a terrible way to live.
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
Wolfgang Ritter? Oh, no, dear.
Huh. Odd.
As I said, your granddad's surname was originally Ritter.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Quick jaunt back up to the attic,
gonna
because
go
I
up to
forgot
the
to
attic.
look at the, star stuff. Christmas lights. A mirror plot.
Well, Gran, I'd better get going.
Take it easy on those women out there, will you, Gabe?
Women? You're my only girl, Gran.
Now, to the cemetery. There we go. Now, I do believe this is a new screen. I don't think you ever visited the right tomb in, the original. Well, I guess you did. Huh. I don't believe it was ever necessary, though. Yeah, new insert here because I want Gabriel's family to have more of a direct impact on the story, so yeah.
DeMarco reads, Franklin Wright.
These are Grant's folks. I never knew them. Hi. I'm Rebecca's grandson.
Much as when they were alive, the Wright elders give no response. DeMarco reads, Merrill Planter Wright.
These are Grant's folks. I never knew them. Hi. I'm Rebecca's grandson.
Much as when they were alive, the Wright elders give no response. DeMarco reads, Harley Wright.
Grant's sister. She died young. Grant talks a lot about you, Harley.
DeMarco reads, Harrison Knight.
Granddaddy. How's it going, Granddaddy?
DeMarco reads, Philip Knight.
Daddy. Hey, Daddy.
DeMarco reads, Margaret Templeton Knight.
My mother. Miss you, Mom. Oh, shoot. Huh. Looks like someone left something in that vase.
Why was there a $20 bill in a vase?
Inside the broken vase, Gabriel sees a $20 bill.
Looks like it's my lucky day.
Is this a thing I don't know about New Orleans cemeteries? Do you leave money for the dead? Well, we're done here. That was, I guess, all the new things added.
Hey, kids!
Bruno. How nice.
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you gonna sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
Unlike the first game, we don't deny him the first time. I guess we just sell it.
How much would you give me for it?
Oh, you're serious? You'll let me have it?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Yeah, I'll let you have it all right. How much for the painting?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My affairs are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100 for your father's painting?
Stay out of this, Grace. Fine. It's yours.
Gabriel!
Here's the 100.
You better take good care of this, Bruno. This is not just another of your hip art pieces, you know.
Really? Well, I fully intend to make the most of its display. Though not for your sake, I'm sure. At least in my shop, there'll be a chance of someone actually seeing it. I can't believe I actually got it. Just wait until I show Sid.
I don't believe you.
It's just a painting, Grace. There are things I have to do.
Now, because we learned of the Ritter name, we can call Wolfgang.
The number written on the note is 4909-324-3333.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
Is that a thing, too?
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
Four.
Guten Tag, Sie haben Schloss Ritter erreicht.
I'm looking for Wolfgang Ritter.
Ja, einen Moment.
Yeah, is this Gabriel on the phone?
This is Gabriel Knight. Why are you calling me, Mr. Ritter?
I've been having premonitions of great danger for you, Gabriel. You must leave New Orleans this very day.
What in the hell are you talking about?
It is hard to explain on the phone. I have had dreams about you. It took me a long time to have you tracked down. I knew that Heinz had a grandson, but until these dreams started, I did not know if I should contact you.
You say you're related to my grandfather?
Heinz was my brother. There is much about the family that you should know. Come to Schloss Ritter in Rittersburg, West Germany. It is our family home. I will tell you everything when you come. You must come immediately. You are in great danger there.
Look, I appreciate the family spirit and all, but frankly, I don't know you from Adam. And I'm not going to fly off to Germany, even if I could afford it.
Gabriel, please. If you won't listen, at least let me send you something. It is a journal from one of your ancestors. Promise me you will read it. You are the last of our line. I'm too old to carry on. You are our last hope. Please, for your family, read the journal.
All right, I'll look at it.
Good. Now be careful, and come to me as soon as you can. Goodbye.
Okay, then. Anyway, now that we have money... Money.
Hi. I have $120. You still want to sell that crocodile mask?
That's 120 sure enough. That mask is yours, sir. Here you go. Careful it don't bite you now.
Yeah, thanks.
Now don't you go forgetting your lagniappe. A free bottle of Master Gambling Oil.
The sign said I could get Lady Luck Oil instead.
Well, I was thinking a man as young as you wouldn't be needing that kind of remedy. But, if you's having problems with your,
That's all right. Believe me, I don't need it. I'll just stick with this. Thanks anyway.
'Cause it ain't none of my business if you do need it now, huh?
I don't need it.
Oh, of course you don't.
Hooray, more achievement. Now go away, please, so I can click on the map icon. Thank you. To the Napoleon House. Of course, being a new screen. Bonuses. He needed to feel more gaunt and less square-jawed. Okay then.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? Don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Laveau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
They say a lot of voodoo stuff is found near the bodies.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Everybody's talking about them. It's starting to scare off the tourists.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
This city must get about 1 million tourists a year, especially around Mardi Gras.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
A lot of people come here because they think it's mysterious. All that talk about voodoo.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
You should probably find a book on the subject, you know?
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
All I know is it's some kind of voodoo holiday.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
People who believe in that stuff think it's a real special night. Magical.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What about them?
No, just anything.
You ask the weirdest questions. I don't know anything about snakes.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Sure. She's kind of the patron saint of voodoo in New Orleans. Don't know too much about her, but the tourists sure get off on all that stuff.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
There's a voodoo museum in town. They'd know more about it than I do.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Come Mardi Gras, you see all kinds of masks in here.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? No, I prefer not to think about that kind of stuff, personally. Crime, perversion, weirdos, just makes me depressed.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
Never heard of it.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Are you kidding? Around here? Hope they aren't serving drinks.
Well, if they are, I don't think anyone in his right mind would want one. Does the phrase caprice encore mean anything to you?
Never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
You know what goes in it?
I don't think it's a drink.
Oh, then I probably don't know anything about it.
It does certainly sound like a drink.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
Hi, how's it going?
It's been worse.
Business picking up?
Some, mostly locals, as usual.
You ever get tired of tending bar for a living?
Never thought much about doing anything else.
Your bow tie is very tiny.
The weather's pretty crappy out there today.
I wouldn't know. I never get out of here before dark.
This looks like a lively crowd.
Lively crowds are trouble. These guys just sit and drink. That makes me happy.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. Now, I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say enough already.
Sounds like my life. Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They've played there every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. By the way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and such.
Really? Thanks. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Oh, don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
That's about all I can say about this crowd.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodoo inn and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day he went up and talked to the girl. And sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife, poor guy.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt your game, but could I ask you a few questions?
What game? This ain't a game, it's a slaughter.
He's right, you know. So let me die in peace, would you?
Are you sure I can't bother you with a few questions?
Mister, please, I'm trying to turn this game around.
Yeah, right. Got a crowbar?
Shut up, you bastard.
Got a second, Sam? It's about your game.
I don't have a game, that's my problem. Don't you touch those chess pieces while I'm gone, bastard.
I ain't never needed to cheat yet, you loser.
Thought you might be interested in this gambling oil.
Let me see that. Master Gambling Oil. What's it for?
Salad dressing.
Don't you ever wonder why Marcus wins every time?
Whoa, hold it. You really think Marcus uses this stuff?
Would I make something like that up?
Get out of here. Marcus would never use something like this.
Well, if that's what you want to believe. This is a powerful voodoo oil.
Ah, go on. Really?
This voodoo oil could make a nun get lucky.
Really? You think it really works, huh?
I'd stake my reputation as a novelist on it.
And you say Marcus uses this? That explains a lot. Let me see that bottle. This looks authentic.
Oh, it is.
If I could really beat that bastard. Stonewall, give me a Pim's cup, would you?
Coming up, Sam.
How much you think I ought to put in here?
Careful, you don't want to overdo it. Too much luck can be dangerous.
Ha! There's no such thing as too much. Now stand back.
Come on already, I'm ready to checkmate.
We'll see about that, Mr. Smarty Big Mouth. Checkmate! Checkmate, you bastard!
Son of a bitch.
20 years I've been waiting to say that. Checkmate! Checkmate! Checkmate!
You are the biggest butthead, Sam Singleton, that I have ever met.
Checkmate!
You can just put that chessboard where the sun don't shine.
Hallelujah! I did it! Yippee!
Nice game.
Nice game! Hell, I was brilliant! Of course, I gotta give some of the credit to that oil of yours. I've been losing to that guy for 20 years. If you ever need a favor, you come to Sam, you hear?
Will do.
Mouse, thank you.
Can I ask you some questions now?
Look, I'd be glad to help you out, but I've been stuck in this bar too long to know much about anything.
Translation, we didn't make a portrait for him.
Could you do anything with this?
What is this, a clay mold? Well, I am a jeweler, you know. And I owe you one. Would you like me to cast this for you?
If you can.
You got it, pal. Actually, it'll be a pleasure to get my tools out. First time in years. I've been too busy playing that goddamn game. I'll have the bracelet later today. Right now, I feel like I could do anything. Meet me here in a few hours.
Great, thanks.
Pretty sure in the original game it was next day.
A small table, recently deserted, holds the remains of someone's drink.
I was hoping it'd say something about who it's reserved for, but oh well.
Knight, hate to tell you this, but you're out of a book. The Voodoo Murders case has been closed.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Son of a bitch. I have to tell you, bud, I'm pretty pissed off about this case being closed. You guys are making a big mistake.
Hey, I'm not any happier about it than you are, Knight, but I've got my orders.
And he's freaking out a little.
Do you know anything about veves?
What?
Veves. They're ritualistic patterns used in voodoo. You know, like those marks we found around the body.
You know what the department says about that, Knight? That voodoo stuff is faked.
Yeah, well, they're wrong. These Veves...
Look, just stop worrying about those marks. I don't think they're relevant.
And I think you're an idiot.
What do you know about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Sounds like a put-on to me.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
You mean gumbo?
No, I mean Damballa.
Never heard of it.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
Oh, come on. Somebody's pulling your leg, Knight.
Are you sure?
Ain't nothing secret about voodoo in Narlands. There's a museum, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but that's the stuff they want you to see.
You're getting mighty paranoid, Knight.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
I told you, you're nuts. Drop it.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Say what?
Ogun Badagri. It's a voodoo loa.
Speak English or shut up, Knight.
Sorry,
Never.
Didn't mean to confuse you. Guess I'll take that as a no. Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No? Is that anything like a Chuck Yeager?
I don't think there's any relation. Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Not since the last time you asked.
Tell me about yourself.
What do you want to talk about that for now? We're not doing the book anymore. Besides, you already know too much about me, Knight.
What's the status on the voodoo murders case?
The case? What case? I told you, the voodoo murders case is closed.
How can you just close it? It's not solved, is it?
Oh, it's solved. Turns out the Chicago Mafia was trying to invade local territory. Use the Mississippi for drug running now that Florida's so hot. What we had here was a little resistance from the local businessmen. Word came in this morning that the Chicago group is giving up and pulling out of Nolans.
But that doesn't bring the killers to justice.
Well, the boys upstairs seem to figure it this way. Let the slime kill each other. Better the vermin we know than Chicago vermin, I guess. The attitude in the department is that we just been done a huge favor, and they're probably right.
What about the local cartel? Are you just gonna let them go?
At least they're part of us. We'll deal with them over time. Always have. Nolans is pretty clean that way, you know?
Well, that's the illusion, isn't it?
Look, I'm not totally in agreement here either. But what can I do? These guys are not about to get caught. I'm disappointed about the book, too. Look, next big murder case I get, I'll call you in, and we'll do that one up right, okay? In fact, I could probably dig up some old cases, and you could spice them up.
No thanks. What's the status on the voodoo murders case?
I told you, it's closed.
What's the status on the voodoo murders case?
The case is closed. There's nothing more to discuss.
What's the status on the voodoo murders case?
The case is closed. There's nothing more to discuss.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
Look, the department's not interested.
So, couldn't you make them interested?
With what? I got 7 bodies and still no leads. The voodoo angle's worthless, and besides, these people aren't hurting anybody but out-of-town drug dealers and hitmen.
The voodoo stuff is not worthless. It's the key to the whole thing. And these people are dangerous. They need to be stopped.
Okay, you want me to reopen this case? Prove what you just said.
What do you mean?
You need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland. Prove that they're a threat. Get me a lead on the cult.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still need...